Anyways, busy day. You probably want to ask questions, and if I'm guessing right, probably about the Gaborik trade. We became clear to us over the course of the year with injuries and other facts that it was a player that was not going to continue with us after this season. So our goal was to protect the future of the franchise today in the best possible way that we could. And I think that we looked at every option that was available out there for a longer period of time already, and this was the best option that we ended up with, and so we did the best we could to protect the future of the franchise. We have a young team. We didn't want to have a player walk into the free agency and lose him for nothing. As I said, he wasn't going to continue here beyond this year. As far as the defenseman that we acquired, Nick Schultz, we've had a great year as far as not having any injuries on the defense, and all of a sudden they all hit us at the same time with Federtuten's injury, and then Ryan Murray, and at the same time Tim Eriksson got hurt in Springfield. I mean, he would have been up here right now playing. Him and Gaborik have been the two first recalls with us. The good thing about it that I always try to keep the positive side is that all year long Dalton Prout has suffered from not being able to get an opportunity to play because all of our top 6 defensemen have been healthy. Now he's in the lineup. I think he's played very well again. He's back to his old level. He's going to be a big part of our future, I believe. But in the next 17 days, we have 9 games, and most likely our future, or the our spring, will be decided on during these 17 days. So we need an insurance. We got an experienced guy that has played in this league for a long time. We know what he can bring. Todd Richards is familiar with the player, has had him in Minnesota, and he's a left-handed shot. So he's a perfect fit for us right now to bring us experience and a defender that has played in this league and we have faith in. So, and I don't know if you guys saw the last-minute deal that we did with Tampa Bay. We acquired Matt Taramina and Dana Tyrell for Dalton Smith and Marcia Salt. So that was the last-minute deal.
Jarmo, had you reached the point with Gaborik where you didn't expect him to make a big impact on your team, even in the stretch drive here? Had that become apparent to you as well?
And you always keep the positive frame of mind. Last time we talked, I was saying to you that we still believe in his ability to score goals. That's why we got him last year. With the unfortunate injuries, he never got on a roll. I mean, it wasn't like he didn't try, and he's a good person, he's a good guy, and well liked in the room and all that. There's nothing wrong with Marion's effort, but he just didn't have a good season, and things were not going the way that he had wished or we had wished, and like I said, he wasn't going to stay with us after this year, so we needed to do something to protect the future of the franchise.
How did you know he wouldn't stay with you after this year? Was that from your angle, your decision, or had there been talks with him that made it clear to you that it would not be extended?
Well, I can't speak on his behalf, obviously, but I think that it would be mutual. This is just assuming, but I think that it was just a mutual thing with the way he felt that he fit. Again, I can't speak on his behalf, but also from our point of view that he just wasn't a great fit and things didn't go the way we had planned. So we wanted to make the best possible deal to protect the future.
Even when healthy, why do you think he didn't seem to fit with this group?
That's a good question. I mean, this is the intriguing part of the team sports that I love about about hockey. That you could have the big name like he is, a guy who scored 40 goals in his career and has 300+ goals, and come in here and just hard to find a fit. Maybe it's the stage of the team, the stage we're in right now with our team. We're a young team. We're a blue-collar team. We're a hard-working team, and he's a finesse skill player that wasn't the greatest fit, and I'll take responsibility for that. That's my job to make sure that the fit's there. But at the same time, if I realize that I made a mistake, then I'll just gotta look in the mirror and try to do the best I can for the organization to move forward, and not trying to cover my own behind.
How much did the last 4 games factor into maybe the strategy heading into today as far as Marion is concerned? I mean, was a decision made long ago?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we looked at the options for a while, obviously, and talked to teams and making sure that we knew what was out there. And I think you always want to keep that positive, optimistic frame of mind, and hoping that things will turn around and work exactly the way that you envisioned them a year ago when we got them, and they didn't. And again, I have nothing but good things to say about Marion and his effort, and a good guy, an honest guy, and I think that he wanted this to work just as well as, or just as much as we did. But he also realized that it didn't, and it was time to move on.
How hard is it? Like, last year there was such an excitement when you got him, and you made the big deal and whatever, and a lot of, a lot of GMs will hang on, keep waiting for the guy to. How hard is it to let that go? I mean, that it could have been a great deal. Everybody, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think that you just got to be honest with. I'm surrounded with people who are very smart and know what they're doing, and they give me their advice, and I try to look regularly into the mirror and make sure that I stay honest with what I see there, and once you realize that this is something you have to do, then you just have to do it and not cover your own behind, like I said. And it's you want things to work, and you make mistakes. This wasn't, if you want to call it my mistake, it wasn't my first, it's not going to be my last. So that's just the way it goes in this business. And my longest experience obviously is with the draft, and it's funny how things work. You get criticized, then they can turn around the other way, and then they all of a sudden praise you about players. And I've had that many times where I get ripped to shreds about some player, and then 3 years later they're saying, "Oh, you're a genius." Wow. And the same thing can happen with trades. I mean, he could go to LA and be the missing piece for them and take him to the Stanley Cup. Who knows? But when you're predicting the future behavior of human beings, if you guys have some kind of a crystal ball, I'd like to borrow it. It's a tough science. But like I said, once you realize that it's not a fit for you, then you got to move on and just make the next decision and try to learn from it and try to do a better job next time.
It's clear that Schultz was a need that you had immediately. Does Fratton at all have a future here?
I've seen Matt Fratton when he was being drafted. I've seen Matt Fratton when he was in North Dakota. He had 36 goals and 60 points in North Dakota. I've seen a lot of great players go through North Dakota, and I don't think too many of them has had 36-goal seasons. Obviously, that's a couple of years ago already. He had a great year in the American League in the playoffs. Scored 10 goals, I think, in 13 games. Toronto seemed to have a big role for him, and then he was a big part of the trade in the Bernier trade. He can shoot the puck. He's obviously, we didn't get him based on what he's done this year. I mean, you can look at his stats and say that he's had a bad year, and you're absolutely right. He's had a bad year. I'm sure he'd be the first one to admit it. And you'll never get a player when they're on top of their game. You got to try to get a player that can maybe turn it around, get his confidence back, and like I said, he can shoot the puck. He's competitive. He's a smart player. He's a gritty player. I think he'll fit our style of play, and he can really shoot the puck. So who knows how he'll fit with us? The future will tell. But I think that he's still young. He's 25 years old. He's got some upside, and he was just a part of the deal. And I think that we did pretty well with as far as the draft picks too. When you look at some of the prices paid today, but it's a different field now with the trying to fit the salaries and who can fit them and who can't, and you know, where you think you might have a bigger market for them, and all of a sudden you're looking at the ticker and 5 seconds left, and you end up with nothing. So there's a good possibility of that too.
You expect Nick Schultz to be in the lineup tomorrow night, and do you have any further insight into the injuries to Ryan Murray and Feder Tootin maybe?
We'll try to get him into our lineup as soon as we can. I was under the impression we had to work on his immigration. I just received a text from him as I was walking in that he's got a green card, so I think that's good news. So that means that we'll probably get him into the lineup sooner rather than later. And Fratton is going to be in Chicago tonight. Murray's, we don't know exactly how long it's going to be, but it could be a week, it could be longer. So that's why we needed to do. We absolutely needed to do something to make sure that we have enough defensemen for this. Like I said, 17 days. We have 9 games, and that's half the games we have left. And you know, our fate could be decided right here during these 17 days.
Jarmo, are you satisfied with the way this day went, or were you expecting more from this day?
I'm pretty satisfied. I think you always kind of wonder if you could have accomplished more, but you know, we worked hard at it, and I can say that we did everything we could to get the best possible results, and that's when I can feel good about what we accomplished. If we slept until 11 today and got into the office and had a cup of coffee and made a couple phone calls and then ended up with this result, maybe I should be looking in the mirror and not being so satisfied with it. I can guarantee you that we did everything we could to make sure that we had every stone turned.
Jarmo, you talked about the clock ticking down and watching that clock tick down in the final 5 seconds. Was there something else in the pipeline you were trying to work on?
Yeah, we were working. I was seeing the ticker on TSN. 5 seconds left. I hung up the phone. I said, I don't think we have any more time. But that's how it goes.
What do you think happened to the Blue Jackets' playoff chances for this year today?
As of today, we're a playoff team, so that's one thing that we believe in our team. We like our team, we had a good run here in January, and we had the team on the ice that we have here now, except for the injured defenseman, and we had Nick Schultz come in to cover for that. So I think we have a good group of forwards. I like our chemistry with our lines. I love the way that Artem Anisimov's playing right now, challenging. You know, we could call him second line center, or first line center, or third line center, whichever you want to call him. He's playing great. Ryan Johansson's been good all year. Boone Jenner just seems to be getting better and better. I think that was one of the reasons too why we felt that you know, we could let Marian Gaborik go after this year and not re-sign him, because, and that's been our philosophy going into this year too, that we want to see our young guys grow and get a good enough opportunity to play. The more responsibility Boone Jenner is getting, the better he's playing, in my eyes anyways, and you want to make sure that he's getting those opportunities too.
Did the defensive injuries change your strategy in terms of maybe going after a high-end forward after Marion was traded and not being able to do that, and really need a veteran defenseman?
Well, obviously, you know, you can do the math there. If we had extra defensemen before that we might have been able to use as part of trying to get a forward for us, we didn't have that luxury anymore. So that just, I think that answers your question.
Are you taking a percentage of Gaborik's contract to facilitate the trade?
Yeah, we are. There's no way that Los Angeles could have fit him with their cap number otherwise.
Did you have to make a roster move to add Fratton and
No,
Schultz?
the 23-man roster is no longer there after midnight last night.
What was the market like for Marion? Was it, I mean, obviously he's a high salaried guy. I mean, and he hasn't had a great year. Were there a lot of teams that were interested, or was it a very limited number?
There was a decent number of good teams, all Stanley Cup contenders. asking about him, and then a couple of them dropped in the morning, and probably moved us along in our decision process too, to make sure that we can protect the future.
I'm also curious, when you got him last year, you had it in your mind, I think, that you might re-sign him. I mean, would that have changed just because? I mean, I don't think anybody foresaw what kind of an offensive team this was going to be, all the scoring. I mean, did that all kind of have an impact on this too?
Yeah. Like I said, I think Boone Jenner, Ryan Johansson, all those guys rising on to another level. Going into this year, we didn't even count on Boone Jenner playing here. We thought that he'd be competing for a spot. He comes to training camp, he earns a spot. It's clear to us that he made our team, and then he's just being moved up all the time, where he's clearly one of the big pieces in our team. And like I said, you got to make sure that he has enough of a role on our team to be able to grow and develop. So that was obviously part of it. But yeah, I said that last year. I said our plan is to get him here for long term. Didn't work out, so we made a decision to move on. And but that was the plan. That's what I said last year. And yeah, that was a plan that we would have him here and extend him, and he'd be a part of us moving forward. But things don't always work the way you plan them.